Hi, I'm Katelyn. I have Asperger syndrome.
And what is Asperger syndrome? That is on what?
It's a form of autism.
Okay, what do you got in your hand right there, Katelyn?
It's a cactus.
What's your name them?
Prickles.
I love it.
Yeah.
And now, Katelyn, can I ask you a couple questions about your syndrome?
Yes.
What is the downfall about having Asperger's? Do you ever have bad moments with having Asperger's that you can't really explain?
Absolutely, because I never heard of it when I was diagnosed with it.
Okay, and now there's a thing called stimming, I've heard.
Yes.
And now, with your form of Asperger's, with you stimming, what are some things that you sometimes find yourself doing when you're upset?
I freak out, I lash out, I take out my anger.
And now, when you say lash out, what do you mean by lashing out? What does that entail?
I bash out at them, telling them to stop it.
Not really them, just people, right?
Yeah.
And now, do you ever sometimes get violent without meaning to?
Absolutely.
Now, what happens in your brain at that moment? Like, what do you see? What do you feel when you are that much in distress and lashing out and stimming, if you will?
Wait, what?
When you're stimming. That's okay.
I'm sorry, this is going to be a hard question.
No, it's okay. When you're stimming, when you're lashing out, when you feel super, aggressive, kind of in your mind, do you feel like you have control of that?
No, I don't.
What do you feel?
I feel violence, absolutely. And that's all.
Do you feel it hard to manage your emotions?
Absolutely.
And now sometimes do you feel like you might lash out at people and you don't mean to?
Just repeat that.
Sometimes you lash out on people kind of around
absolutely.
you and you don't mean to, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then any other comments? All right, Katelyn, so a question for you. It's been a while. I just want to kind of ask you, when you walk around the neighborhood, by yourself, because, you just walk around, you're the tiger trotter, do people still mess with you?
Absolutely.
Wow, you say that with a smile on your face. So can I ask why do you have having more of a humorous tone to people messing with you now?
No.
No, okay. All right, well, what?
I'm walking by myself. Kids mess with me. They trigger me. I say Chuck E. Cheese. And
Well, what was the thing that you told me about when you went to Chuck E. Cheese by yourself and a bunch of kids did what?
Oh, they followed me to Chuck E. Cheese and used my trigger words.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they got thrown out of the store.
Right, because you went about it in a professional manner. You went to go to the Chuck E. Cheese staff and let them know, like, hey, these kids aren't accompanied by an adult.
Well, Chuck E. Cheese staff actually came over to them.
Okay, good. Because they know of you because you go to Chuck E. Cheese often.
Yep.
You're a Chuck E. Cheese loyalty member at this point.
Chuck E. Cheese fandom respect.
There you go. All right. So my next question is, so that was one incident. What was another incident where someone was not too kind to you?
When they mention pony rides and find it funny.
Okay. And now they're going to find out why pony rides is a trigger word.
Exactly.
Okay. I want to cut
And I'm
right
going
here.
to tell you.
All right. Well, I want to cut right here. Okay. Thank you for answering these questions. All right, Kate. So we're talking about trigger words, right? Trigger words that in the past would make you freak out. I mean, have you remember stimming out, which you kind of, or what the kids now say, crash out when you yell, get violent when you kind of lose control. Pony rides. Can you please explain why pony rides is such a huge deal and why? And because to this day, kids still say it, grown-ups still say it, thinking that it should be funny when they actually know it's a traumatizing trigger word. Please explain to them why pony rides, in general, triggered you. And can we start off with when you first told me about what happened when you were younger, when you were on a pony ride?
Exactly. The pony people put me on the smallest saddle. I limped all the way home. And there was a red swollen mark on my left leg.
Okay.
What happened a few days after? A big black hole appeared there. I was admitted to the doctor. They gave me an antibiotic. And a lot of stuff squeezed out that smelled like 30-year-old Caesar dressing and almost made someone faint.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was like, they should get rid of the pony rides and trash them, make them non-existent.
Okay, so that makes sense because I always heard stories before I met you. I always heard stories about people saying, "Oh, that girl, she yells," and because a lot of the carnival stuff or like the kind of community-based parties or whatever, they would have pony rides. And a lot of times when you were younger, you would go and protest, but you would freak out more because also this was way before me and you really knew each other that well, and before you kind of went over, crashing out or having stimming moments, but before you used to really get worked up about it, right?
Yeah.
And now people misunderstood that you just hated pony rides, but they didn't know the backstory that you had a traumatizing experience with it, and you were protesting because you didn't what?
I don't want them there anymore because I'm afraid other kids will get hurt the same way I did.
So in a way, would you say that you were trying to protect?
And if I must add,
Yeah.
they misunderstood because they said I was too old for pony rides.
Mm-hmm.
And they found the injury a joke.
Right.
Just imagine what would have happened if it wasn't attended to immediately.
Right. It could have led into sepsis and stuff and a really bad infection that could have went into your bloodstream, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what that's why that black hole happened.
Yep.
Okay. So now, and then there's people that are from all ages that'll know your trigger word. I don't know if they know the backstory too much, but they know your trigger word and they'll still say it thinking that they're being funny, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, Kate, so my next question for you is because we were talking about trigger words, but me and you journey together, me mentoring you, we also talked about your executive functioning skills, and one of them is fixations and obsessions, right? Remember we talked about that? All right. So what is that one fixation and obsession?
A celebrity crush I have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you often talk to a lot of people in the
Yes, I do.
community about this specific person that you have a crush on, right?
Yes.
And we also discussed that some people use that information to kind of use against you to mess with you, which
Yep.
is another trigger thing for you because this is a fixation of yours. This is a huge fan. You're a huge fan of this person.
Yep.
And just wanted to kind of talk about your fandom is so extreme that you even go to what?
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con, and you see this person all the time, right?
Yep.
You admire this person a lot.
Yes.
And how does this person make you feel when you get to watch their stuff or you get to see them? How does it make you feel?
He makes me fangirl, I can tell you that.
Okay, so what is that? I also want to know how in tune you are with your emotions as well.
I feel happy.
Happy, okay. Give me like 2 more feelings he makes you feel.
Excited.
Okay, happy and excited.
And I can't think of a third one, I'm sorry.
Would you say kind of gives you the butterflies?
Yes.
But in a giddy way. Not in like you're absolute in love with it, just you love the way that this person makes you feel.
Yes.
And all of the content that they make.
Yep.
Now, can you tell me a time when you were in a situation where maybe you, because I'm with fixations, we talked about, especially people on the spectrum, when things don't go your way, like that's that one time when you were unsure if you were going to be able to see this person, what happened?
I freak out a lot.
Okay, and now can you please explain with your type of autism and be just very transparent and open as you can be. When you freak out, what were some things that you do or you're capable of doing?
I freak out, I cry.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, there's more to it. This is okay. It's a safe place. I need to just because a lot of people with autism also get violent, right?
Yeah.
And you also kind of black out.
Yep.
And you're loud, and
Yep.
sometimes, and a lot of times, what do you do when you feel like that? Remember before when you step outside?
I freak out a lot.
And sometimes when you step outside and you have the freakouts, it's more of a public thing, and a lot of other people can kind of then see that, right?
Yep.
And they kind of get involved. Some people try helping you, and some people are just use that as an opportunity to kind of kick you while you're down.
Yep.
And that's happened to you before, right?
Yep.
I know. All right. And all right, Katelyn, so me and you, we met like 2 years ago, right?
I think so. I can't remember.
Well, we first knew of each other like 3 years ago. And I would say I didn't know anything about you. Remember,
Yeah.
like I didn't even know that you were the age that you were. I thought you were like a young kid. And to be honest with you, I was like, who is this loud person? This person's coming around always loud. And I didn't really know too much about you until I finally started to talk to you, and then you opened up to me and you told me that you had Asperger's.
Yeah.
And that you had other stuff kind of going on. You told me a lot about, and we started gaining trust, and you started telling me a lot of stuff. And then me and you developed a friendship, and then I would find out a lot of things about people bullying you, people not being kind to you, and then I decided to take it upon myself to mentor you. In the 2 years that me and you have been doing this, you kind of me teaching you different ways, or you coming to me as a safe place and me mentoring you, How has your life changed?
I think my life's changed a lot.
Okay, and now when you say a lot, like, has it changed better, worse? What's...
I'd say better.
Okay, and now why is that? What are some things that you learned? In your words.
Well, I learned that my mentor is no nonsense.
Yes, because your mentor also likes to stand up for what is right, and also wants to bring awareness,
Yes.
and to bring kindness, because kindness costs nothing. And also, it takes one person to change everyone else's outlook. But I want to know for you, me being in your life, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel safe, I can tell you that.
Makes you feel safe, okay. And now, do you feel like a lot of the talks that we had, you learned a lot of stuff from?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And can you name a time where maybe before you would freak out, that now you could say is different now that you have me, because a lot of times you now call me, right? When things kind of go wrong, to calm down.
Can't really remember any times, and I'm sorry if I can't.
That's okay, remember, and can you please let them know too about your memory stuff? You said you have a hard time with memory.
Yeah, I have a hard time with memories.
There was a time when you came over upset. Remember, you came over upset, and we talked, and you said that you felt better after because you calmed down.
Yeah.
And before, there was no calming you down, remember? It was just Hulk mania.
Nope. Yep.
Just rage and warpath. So my next question was to you is, now do you feel like other people in the community is starting to kind of make you feel safe as well too?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you.